every time he's being attacked
Gosh, this
publicly
is
or
difficult.
verbally, every time we attack him
Okay,
through the financial
camera.
system with economic sanctions, as well as with our
I don't know why
military
it's
power through
not.
the
Let me
Ukrainians,
turn this off.
he's held back. And much to the consternation, obviously, of many of his advisors, but I think it's paid off handsomely because he's weakened us to the point where, frankly, I don't think.
That's weird. All right. He told me he wanted to go live right now. I'm a little bit unprepared, but he's not answering his phone. So maybe he's on another call. I'll let him call in to me. Good morning, everybody. My computer is always slow when it first, it's like me, slow when it first wakes up. I've made some phone calls, had some discussions on CAUD. Let's see how everything's trading. And all I can say is I think they're trying to do their best. I expect one or two announcements over the next couple of weeks in CAUD. The Brownstone Group is the sponsor of Aubrey SPAC. So I'd say there's a 50-50 chance they're on our side. But the stock is 127. And I probably don't need to tell you guys that if it gets under one, they're gonna say, well, next raise, let's do a reverse split. But that's the risk. I do believe that the people involved mean well. They're going to do their best. The problem is blindness. Look, if you go to school with these guys, they have fancy lawyers. Your daughter knows their son. When the lawyer says, hey, it's not them, it's not me, it's not me. This rot is so entrenched in the United States markets, it's almost approved. It's like when you show up at a party with hot girls and ball players, and you feel privileged to be invited, and then out comes the cocaine, and you don't do drugs, but everyone's doing it, and what's your choice? Be a dick and report them, or you just drink your Pinot Noir and let it happen. That's how these markets are now. Nobody is enforcing the rules. But I think there'll be two announcements over the next 2 or 3 weeks on CAUD. And the next thing they have to do is, roll up these companies. I mean, to me, I would never have left the risk of not getting one or two of those deals done into Datalogic before. But you say, well, that's hindsight, maybe. Well, I said it then. I'm gonna have to start putting things in writing so I can go prove what I said. But I'm shocked that they didn't lock in the share deals on with these companies. On the other hand, maybe there would have been clauses in the agreement that if the stock fell by this much, they could walk away. So it might be, it might be a bad idea on my part. But the key is going to be the next deal they do, when they roll in a deal, they've got to break out of listening to the liars. They've got to say, okay, guys and girls, we're powerful Wall Street types. We're on the board. Do we want this to be a success or to turn out like MMAT, MULN, CLNV, NVOS? You just go down the list. The evidence is there, but they don't want to see it. They don't want to see it. We went to Harvard. We're smart. We can think this. You can't outthink the trap. You're not. The problem is you're too honest. These criminals don't care. All right, finally. All right, ready? Let me just, I gotta just put it on the speaker.
Do whatever you got to do.
All right, there you go. The voice is awake. The audience is awake.
All right, let's rock and roll. Anyway, again, this is not to buy or sell. This is my opinion, blah, 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 blah. All right, listen, we'll start off with MMTLP with this idiot that in Forbes writing this story. Again, don't get dragged in fighting with this idiot. It doesn't make a difference what your company does. Stock settlement needs to be enforced. End the question. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference what you do, what a company does. I don't care if they have a bag of rocks. You need to settle your trades. That's the way it goes. That's the U.S. equity markets. There is no stock settlement. By locking down MMTLP, FINRA and the SEC made a terrible mistake because now everyone's locked in. The shorts are locked in. The longs are locked in. And now we just need to see how many people own the stock versus how many shares. I put it up on Twitter, the schematic. It can't be any easier. The DTC, if MMTLP has, let's say, 65 million shares, you can't have people owning, 665 million shares. E-Trade, Ameritrade, they can hit a button in 1 second and know how many shares of MMTLP they bought internally. They need to then call the DTC, see how many shares they have for them, because everyone has a fixed amount of physical shares to match their position. And the difference is a counterfeit. It's easy. Why is it taking over a year to get that information? Because the system is broken and you guys exposed them. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's it. I put the schematic up there. Don't fight with that guy. He's just looking to make noise. If you were screwed, like the shorts are in this thing, whether it's Virtue or Citadel, I don't know who the short is in MMTLP. I have no idea. Whoever it is, I'd be doing the same thing. You guys got the senators, the congressmen, the representatives all to go after these guys. And now you really busted their balls. They're really exposed and they're trapped. They're going to do anything. Then we got that guy Gasparino stepping in, another putz. Who's defending rape, murder, security fraud? That's all the same thing. They're harming people. That's what they do. They're harming anyone in their way. And he's cheering for it along with the guy at Forbes. Not only that, he's insulting you. And AMC and GME. This guy's got some pair of balls.
What's his name?
Charles Gasparino, whatever.
Oh,
He's
the
old washed up reporter. He has nothing left in his life. And
do you think he's been paid off to do this article?
Well, he didn't do the article. It was a Forbes article. I don't know that guy's name. I don't know who
he was interviewed.
Who was interviewed?
Gasparino.
Oh, listen. The whole thing is, listen. If you enjoy watching young girls or anyone get raped like they do with Epstein and all that nonsense, you're approving this. It's they're harming people. I don't approve of that. I wasn't brought up doing that. These guys don't care. I don't even know how you even stick your nose in this fight. It's basically just show us your cards. E-Trade, how many shares of MMT you own? That's it. They won't tell you because it's easy. The brokerage firm has to match the depository trust. If the brokerage firm owns 1 million and the DTC has 100,000, that means there's 900,000 counterfeit shares owned by E-Trade. That's the math. How they got here and all that shit, that stock settlement, the manipulation, that's the end of the road. That's it. Don't get dragged into all this manipulation. We're allowed to do this, we're allowed to do that. The stock stopped trading. Now they have a massive problem. All right, so don't get roped into these people. The math is what clears it up. The proof, the data, it's right there. They won't show the data because they know they're all exposed. That's it. I don't know how to say it anymore. It's pretty easy. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. All right. All I know is that
How many
the numbers
people are
not
in
that
your
good.
room?
Not a lot. So I guess I am the smartest person in the room. On a different note, a buddy of mine who owns a lot of Wolf is going to sell north of 1 million shares. Once it goes past 3, he's going to start working out of it and start to buy Finger. I believe next week we're going to see information coming from law enforcement, how they're going to attack this thing. All right. And I assume the company will soon will come out with an update. I asked Mark Brazil about the Capybara default, and the company's going to have to address it. And I'm sure Mark will have to address it, how he's going after bringing Interpol in here. That is a criminal, that's going to turn into a criminal case against Capybara. They committed security fraud, helped destroy the stock by shorting and distorting, and they're not getting away. The company's going after them, and where's Capybara tied to? If it's tied to Lynn or whatever, they're all going to get caught. This is what do you call it? All their avenues to escape, or the escape hatch, are getting closed. They're getting trapped. And once one of them gets arrested, whoever it may be, if Capybara is the weak link and they get busted, they're going to give up who's paying them. If it's Benzinga, somebody's going to get caught here. All right, so no one's going away from this nonsense. These guys, it's only getting worse. Each day that goes on, it's going to get worse. Law enforcement, I believe, is going to be focused on Finger Motion. That's where I've directed all my attention to. Finger Motion, Capybara, the short and distort. That's what the DOJ is looking for. It all plays into it perfect. They've done it perfect. They defaulted on their criminal case, on the case in New York City in the Southern District. So again, all this stuff is going the right direction, and it's going to be focused on Finger Motion. Unfortunately, that's why I had to knock it down to one case. GTI will feed off of Finger Motion when they get exposed there. MMTLP is a different character, and that is basically going to expose the whole system and helps everyone. For the people in MMTLP, don't stop, get more signatures. That story is trying to get people from not signing that document. That's what they're trying to do. You got them in DC. Charlie Payne's exposed them for you. And now you got them. Step on the pedal here, get more signatures, get bigger, powerful names, and you'll be off to the races. The SEC can't hide. All right. They can't hide this forever. All right. Like William says, once it's seen, it cannot be unseen. All right. Each day we wake up, we're walking into a new firefight here. I don't get it, but that's what they want to do. We're not going away. All right. I do believe that Finger Motion will believe. In my opinion, the shit's going to start to hit the fan in Finger Motion within the first 2 weeks of the year. So we're right here. So again, you know what I believe, and you know what? I'm following this super closely for a long time. I believe the shit's going to hit the fan soon. This morning, they did a quick wash down at 382. They put up 35,000, whatever the number was, out of the gate. There was a buyer and a seller, and they all matched up in 1 second. All right, then the stock, there is no selling. It's just manipulation. When buyers show up, they move out of the way. As you can see, the stock starts to move up. All right, but I do believe that we're close on Finger Motion. Like I said, GTI, they hired that new consultant. I don't know who that is. So I believe he's working on a deal. That's my opinion on that. And I think that Finger Motion, when it runs, it'll drag GTI with it. And then we'll hopefully get the information from the company on that state. All right, William, anything that you want?
Well, there was a general question up above that I'm not going to highlight, but he asked, oh, so now Forbes is telling lies? And my response is Forbes is just a magazine and they're printing an article. So I'm not.
Well, for the dummy that just said that, Forbes did a story that naked short selling didn't exist by Matt Levine 3 months ago. The next day, Savvy Management, that fat bastard Hal Mintz, was busted by the SEC for naked short selling scheme. Yes, Forbes is lying. There you go. There's your answer. All right. And this guy would be proven as a liar also. MMTLP, you picked the wrong fight there. Everybody's well versed on what's going there.
So let me ask you.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
Don't interrupt. Don't
I'm sorry.
interrupt me, William. I'm pissed off now. MMTLP was listed. I was with John Berger in Puerto Rico. He had nothing to do with it. They used his name. They made him the CEO of a stock dividend he had nothing to do with. All right. Who created this company? Who created it? Was it the guy from Virtue, whoever it was? I'm not sure who it was. I think it's him. All right. Who created this thing to get it listed? It wasn't John Berger. It wasn't anybody. No one created this thing. The shorts created it. So again, go back and do your history before you act like an asshole and say stupid things. We all understand the crime, and the people in MMTLP are well versed on what's going on. So give it a break. Or you want to go out there and have some balls, go sit down with the people in MMTLP before you say stupid things like that. Forbes is lying. And if I was short and I was trapped, I'd be doing everything in my power to discourage anybody to get behind this thing. And with the senators and the representatives and those people signing that thing in DC, you've got them all twisted because it's going down the road where they're going to get exposed. And if you're a billionaire, you're getting trapped. And that's what's happened here.
So what's the chance that that article is timed because they're in negotiations for settlement?
I don't know I don't know. But
Yeah,
again, with my opinion,
Yeah.
they want this thing to gain no traction in DC. Zero. It has to end. They can't have pressure from senators and representatives on the SEC. They just can't have that traction.
Right.
They need to stop that. And Honor and Busy and everyone else, get more signatures. Keep going. Keep adding to the list. All right? Go down to DC. People, go down there. Get more signatures. We walked around, William. Knock on the doors. Go get the signatures. Get another 5. Get another 10. It'll keep snowballing. And that's what they're afraid of.
I agree.
Now
I think
you know what they're afraid of.
I think they're fighting back against the effectiveness of everybody on this call. One gentleman is asking, wouldn't it make more sense for law enforcement to go after the people overseas rather than the companies here?
No, law enforcement needs to go after the broker dealers and the clearing firms for not settling the trades, just like the Korean brokers, the Korean exchange just did. They went after the brokers for allowing naked short selling, right?
Uh-huh.
When you buy stock at E-Trade, E-Trade needs to settle the trades. E-Trade is not settling the trades, or Fidelity. And you say, well, how do you know that? Well, if people don't have their dividend shares, when you are short, you got to fail to deliver like Fidelity had. There's nothing they can, when they owe you a dividend, they're supposed to get the stock so they can prove ownership. If they don't get delivery, they have no ownership and they're not entitled to the dividend. Fidelity not doing their job is now short to GTI dividends. That's what happens.
Okay.
So we go after them. Let them go after the crooks. Let the broker dealers go after their clients. We don't need to do it. Let them do it. And if they don't want to do it, you lock them up. The compliance people, the back office people, and their management will all go to jail because they're not doing their job and they're allowing the counterfeiting to exist. They could stop it immediately.
I'm not sure which rules he's talking about, but Ham, do you think the new selling rules will make a difference?
The new short selling rules?
I guess that's what he means. I'm not.
When they're going to expose their positions?
Yeah, I guess that he didn't say, but I guess.
Well, it's pretty easy. The SEC did it for you. The reason they need these rules is because of GameStop. That idiot Gary Gensler said it. He was using GameStop as an example of what happens when we have no idea what's going on the other side. That's what I'm saying is going on in Finger Motion. There's over 205 million shares short.
Wow.
That's what happens.
Short, counterfeited. They don't exist.
Counterfeited, whatever. Counterfeited, right.
So Jonathan Daly, is he the golf player? He asks any update on GDC. No,
I want to kill myself because I just watched ALT go to 12 and I had to call at 5:50 and I had to call at 5:50 and there. I had to call there and I did nothing and I bought GDC based on my friend who bought 1 million shares of it. So that's what I did. As soon as I get an update, I will hear. I don't know the update. I don't know what's happening, but I'm following somebody, and I'm not happy about it.
Well, if something good is supposed to happen, maybe they wait till the first week of January.
I don't know.
I know. I don't know either.
I wish it would have went already, because the dip in finger, I could have rolled back in and bought more shares. But I can't do
Exactly.
it but that's all I was trying to do.
Okay.
It's like when you least expect it, they explode. My problem is that, like everyone else, you get discouraged when your stock doesn't move.
Right.
And, I'll give you an example. Like when Wolf went last time, it went from, we were buying it at 80 below $1. Millions of shares we bought. And it started to move. And, we got out between 2 and 3, and then some at higher levels. And then it took off. It went to 4.
Right.
All right. Because it took so long to move. Look at Wolf now. It's 271. And I look at Mara, these other crazy stocks, they're up $3, $2 every day. They're going up. They're squeezing them to death. How is this stock moving up 50 cents? This stock, Wolf should be up $1.50 today, not 49 cents. It's traded 30 million shares. It's up 40 cents.
Yeah.
That's so here's a stock that you get discouraged, because here it is, it's up 50 cents, and you watch Mara, it's going up every day, 3, 2. That's what happens when you break through the clouds. Once the shorts give up, that's what happens. And I can see this going to happen in finger shortly. All right. GTI will follow behind it. MMTLP doesn't trade, so there's nothing you could say about that one.
Couple of questions 3 questions on Forbes, just saying they're too big for us to fight. And then one guy's saying, are you going to use the Forbes article with the Secret Service or the FBI? I don't know. You've already talked about Forbes. You don't have to do it again.
There's nothing. Listen, that the gentleman that wrote that story is a stooge. No one would waste their time writing that story. And for everyone on the call, you understand that this company doesn't even trade. It doesn't even trade. What is he writing this story about? He's writing the story for one reason: to discourage people in DC to get behind it. That's it. He's never going to stop the investors that are stuck. His act in this story is to stop the people in DC from reporting on it. That's it. That's what he's doing. His instructions were stop DC from getting behind this. That's what his instructions are. That's what it tells me. It's not that he's stopping the stock from trading higher. It doesn't even trade. So what is he writing this story about?
Yeah.
There's only one reason: he needs to stop DC from getting behind it. And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing there.
I wonder who owns Forbes. I don't even know. I'll look it up in a second. But I wonder if the big funds own Forbes. Anyway.
Again, all it takes is one person to go see this guy, to write a story. It's a big, whoever it is, it's a hedge fund that's giving him his instructions or giving him his payday to sit there and say, hey, I need you to get behind this thing. Who would waste their time doing that story? All the people are asking for is the Blue Sheet investigation. This guy's going back and said it was a stripper pole company, whatever the hell it was back in the day. Who cares what it is? I don't care what the company does. Right? I couldn't care if it was a strip company, whatever you want us to call it. Means nothing. Stock settlement. How many shares do people own? And what is that? If the stock settlement system doesn't work, then the whole equity market is fraud. So he should be writing the story. MMTLP is exposing all of Wall Street here that the stock settlement system doesn't work. There are trillions and trillions of dollars behind the U.S. equity markets. It's all false. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, the DTC, the whole thing is ruined because it's got criminal activity in it. That's the story. Why wouldn't someone write that story? Instead, he's sitting here writing a comic book, trying to embarrass people. He's doing it because here's the one: you're getting too close in DC, and that's the focal point. MMTLP, go after DC nonstop, 24/7. Be aggressive. Don't sit back and take this on the chin. Go right after him. Forget that guy. Don't even address him.
He's
Go
gone.
after these. Excuse me.
He's gone. He's gone. I
Yeah, no,
blocked
I'm
him.
not. Listen, I don't care about that. I said, listen. Anyone who thinks that, anyone that approves of financial security fraud or any kind of fraud, right? It's like holding up a deli in New York City. You're robbing poor people that are working all day. It's the same thing. These guys are not using a gun; they're using a keyboard. That's the difference. And this is worse. White collar crime is 100 times worse. They're not shooting people, stabbing them, or beating them with a bat, but they're doing it. They're destroying your family, taking everything, and ruining your life. Over investing in a stock. That's what happens here. That's what's going on. And who would stand behind that? The only people that would stand behind that is a criminal. Listen, I'm a Florida State fan. Ace is a 49er fan. Everyone has a different team. There's different opinions. But when it comes to people robbing people, if you're not on the same page, then I don't know. I have no idea what you're standing behind. Because it's impossible.
All I know is you both come here to play football. Do you think now Finger is in the lead? This guy thought it was GTII last
No, I've
week.
been saying it for months. That Finger motion has jumped into the lead.
What about the new hire? Is the guy's point? The new hire.
I don't know the guy. I have no idea who he is. He's doing something. I don't know what he's doing. A deal. He's a deal maker. So
Right.
Let's see what he does.
Okay.
I have no idea.
All right.
What's he working on? I have no idea. But the guy's got a resume that looks listen, there's no way anybody wants to join on the Titanic, right? I wouldn't jump on that boat.
Do you know who owns Forbes? According to Mark, did the research.
The guy from Virtue.
I don't know. No, it's a weird name. Whale Media Investments out of Hong Kong. So I don't know.
That's it. So listen, if you go look at Carson Black, where the guy was offshore doing all the short selling stuff, right?
Right.
He was attacking attacking companies all over the world, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's you can do anything you want. Freedom of speech, knock yourself out. That's what these people are doing. So you have freedom of speech. Tell them how you feel. Who stands for security fraud? It's basic. That's the only thing I see here. There's nothing else to address.
CEO Mike Federale, based in Jersey.
Listen, all you have to look at is forget Forbes. The guy is a stooge. He's defending security fraud. No one from MMTLP is saying anything else. If they have oil and gas, that's everyone's opinion. Who cares what they have in the ground? Who cares? Where's our dividends? Where's our stock? Why did you shut it down? Why did they shut it down? Right? Who made it start trading, and why did you shut it down? It's pretty easy. They shut it down because it was getting out of control. There were so many buyers in here that was the problem. They never thought they would create this. They created a monster. That's the problem.
Well, and we are fighting fraud, and it's everywhere. It's so.
Listen, I can't fight all the frauds.
I know.
I can't fight the guys that are stealing cars, holding people up, hijacking, raping your daughters. I can't stop all that. I'm here for one particular fraud. That's it. And it's taken 24 years. 24 years to get to this point. And we're right there. It's going to break. MMTLP, call every senator, congressman, every representative, send them emails, get them, show them that thing, show them the video, Charlie Payne, put something professionally together, and everybody, there's 65,000 of you, assault any congressman you want. Just keep sending them the letters to sign up. And if they don't sign up, embarrass them on Twitter, embarrass them, drag them down. because then you're fighting fraud. You're on the right side of this fight. Don't listen to these morons posting this stuff. That's it. Work together, get it done, cut the bullshit out, and that's what you need to do. Go out, hire the truck, put it in front of the SEC. Get 100 of you. Go down to DC, stand in front of the SEC. Call a reporter to come down, to come see you guys. Get together. You're right there at the finish line. Someone organize it. Get together. I know it's a pain in the ass to leave your house.
Do you think Mark Bazile could go after Forbes the way he did Crappy Barra?
Well, I'm not an attorney, so I can't answer that. I don't know.
One guy says, Ham has great answers. So awesome. Thank you.
Really?
That's what he said. That's the feedback from the audience.
I guess you worked on a trading desk. I'm short and sweet. That's how it goes. No long answers here.
And no hurt feelings, no long discussion, no drama.
There's no hurt feelings here. You can call me whatever you like. I could care less. I'm here for one mission, to wipe out naked short selling. And again, if you're not with us, then you approve of security.
Then you
fraud.
again us.
Listen, I'll be the first guy to tell you. If you tell me I can go out there and commit security fraud and just make a ton of money and no one's going to bother me, sign me up. I'll take the free money and go enjoy my life every day. The Kramers are living a great life, flying around. Everyone's having a blast. Lynn Partners, the guy's jet skiing in the Greek Isles with his family. Everyone's having a blast. Savvy Management's living in my condo in Fisher Island, which I wish I had. Yeah, I'm jealous of it because I know what Fisher. I've been on that island. I can't believe that they let this guy buy a $10 million condo on one of the most exclusive places in the world. And it's just like no big deal. And he's committed security fraud and he's walking around that bastard. And his kid's a BlackRock, interning at BlackRock and all this nonsense. That's what you get when you steal money.
Well, they're not thinking about eternity.
Listen, forget eternity. Right now, these guys are stealing money. They're stealing money. No one's stopping them. The SEC, the government. So we had to go to law enforcement. Do you think I have nothing better to do than go work with law enforcement? What do you think? I'm not getting a medal on this. I could kill less. Just to end it already. I'll do whatever it takes. I just came up with 3 ideas for the truck. I got to contact my guy to get that done. I can't believe the stuff that I see that we're putting out on Twitter.
They were making fun on the space call of me, but they also made fun of your truck idea, putting a truck. I don't know why they're doing it. I guess to blow off steam. But
make it for who? What?
And nothing. And I shouldn't have brought it up, but you reminded me because of the truck. They were singing songs about me and you and the truck and all that, making fun.
What stock is this?
I think just everything in general, but they focus on MMTLP.
Who? So it's that crowd's trying to piss on me?
They were, and
all
me.
Right,
it was really focused on me, but the truck was the item of ridicule.
Oh, really? They didn't say that when I put the truck in front of the SEC when they had the little rally down there. That was me paying for the truck and putting it there.
I know.
All right.
They didn't say it about you walking the halls of Congress and the Senate. I was there.
When it comes down to giving medals, whoever's standing up making noise about MMTLP, I'm going to step in and swoop in and kick your ass out and take your fucking medal. So go take a walk, whoever you are, whoever you're talking about.
Well,
that's what I'm going to do. I promise you that. When one of those assholes steps up and they want to get their medal for fighting MMTLP, I'm going to step in and show them my communication with my buddy, Charlie Payne. I did that. I got you, Mark Bazile. I got you, Wes Christian. You guys are sitting here pounding away on Twitter. You've done nothing. You don't even know anybody. I took care of it all.
I know that.
So
anyway,
I don't care. I'm not looking for a medal, but whoever the jerk off is that thinks he's going to be the star of MMTLP, I'm going to step in and smash you in the face when it comes time.
He's
all right?
just young.
I'm going to promise.
He needs some years on him.
What's that?
He just needs some years on him to realize that credit isn't the important thing here. Getting it
There is
done
no
is the
credit.
important thing.
If he wants credit, he's not getting any.
I'm looking
I'm
at
just laughing.
questions.
Charlie Payne, the only reason Charlie Payne's doing it is because of me.
That and same with Wes Christian, same with the education you've given a lot of CEOs.
Again, I don't care. Listen,
Anyway.
just listen. Stop bringing those morons up to me.
All right.
Kill us.
It just popped to my head when you said the truck. Did you write down your 3 ideas?
Now you got me pissed off. I forgot them.
Let's drive it right
Yeah.
through the
I'm actually
lobby.
I actually thought of one where the Kramers just sitting there saying, "Don't fuck with us." I'm gonna put their pictures with their family next to the truck at the with Gary Gensler and say, "Here you go. Here's your crooks. They're telling you to go fuck yourself. Here you go." And then I'll get Lynn and I'll take care of them. I got a couple of ideas. Someone wants me to use Sergeant Schultz. They told me last night there's a whole bunch of good stuff. You know, I gotta write it down.
Paulie says, William, stop pissing Ham off. He's laughing
Yeah,
when he's
got me all
laughing when
riled
he's
up.
saying it.
Listen, I woke up this morning. I saw that thing. I'm standing here defending the MMTLP people. Are you kidding me? Give me a break.
This is just a subset. Don't worry about it.
Nah.
Well, will you educate law enforcement on the MMTLP hit piece so they understand the magnitude of the fraud when they're in this?
Actually, I can't say yes or no right now because I'm focused on MMTLP. All my data points are pretty, I didn't know the hit piece was coming out. I don't know, I will use it of all the representatives that are signing to get the exposure from the SEC. I'm using that.
Right.
I'm using South Korea to show that it's a global problem.
Right.
And it's a U.S. problem. We're the ones that educated all these offshore. I told you, the U.S. started doing it. And now everybody around the globe is doing it. We're just an ATM to all these criminals. That's what it is.
And we just keep printing trillions and trillions of dollars.
Right.
And oh God. Yeah, it's as a friend of mine in Abu Dhabi always said to me, it's going to end in tears. Bill, it's going to end in tears. It's not going to be pretty. Sergeant Schultz idea for the truck. That's one of your ideas. Sergeant Schultz. I see nothing.
Well, that's Gary Gensler. I mean, listen, Gary Gensler is just, my friend who's a big attorney said to me, this is a political hand grenade. Who wants to step up and tell the world that the whole equity market's full of counterfeits? Who wants to do that? Who wants to be the first to step up to do that? Nobody does. So think about that. This is how are they going to tell everyone in the world, oh yeah, the equity markets are full of counterfeits and everybody's screwed.
Wow. This guy's longtime listener, first time caller. No, that he's not first time, but he says naked short selling is not permitted in Mexico by law. The BD rules require that the Mexican dealer must verify the securities of the same issuer are available. Maybe we just moved to Mexico. I don't know.
What's happening is that every country, people know about this. The U.S. is a disgrace. This was set up by criminals, what you're seeing now. That's the problem.
And they're maximizing it.
I told you, my younger brother worked at the DTC. The DTC is the home for all the old criminals all the back office people on Wall Street. That's where they go to retire and get an easy job. They know the system has got flaws in it. This happened, 30, 40 years ago, and it just got better and better and better. The criminals know that no one's buying in the shares, and they can keep flooding the equity markets with shares. That's it.
So when they sell these shares, it doesn't show up on Nobo lists. It doesn't show up on the FINRA numbers. Well, let me say it differently. There's an argument out there that FINRA is not reporting, that it's just back and forth trading, and FINRA is not reporting the buying. Those two things aren't true, are they?
Forget all that for a second. If there's no problem, why is MMTLP held up for a year?
There you go.
If the system worked, this would have been over with in an hour, not over a year. If the system worked, GTI investors would have a dividend. Instead, they're all chasing around this IOU that the brokerage firms have made up every excuse in the world that you can't have it. If you do get it, you can't sell it. If we send it to you, you got to pay me a ton of money. Every excuse in the world to get a dividend. That's because it trapped them. We exposed them. That's why. The system, the financial system, has been broken from a kid from Brooklyn who figured it out. There you go.
If the system worked, they'd let it go up. No, that's not the way you say it.
No.
If
they thought they can win, they let the stock go higher. They can't let the stock go higher because they can't win. That's the problem. They don't want, like, for example, ALT. My friend called me up. It was $5.50. He said that there's, it was an obesity drug and whatever. I forget the other company, and that this thing is going to get into play. And the stock started to gain momentum. He said there was a huge short in it. So the shorts were trying to hold it down. The stock got into play, and the stock doubled. It went from 550 to 12. That's what happens when you get momentum. Finger motion, every time you get momentum, they were coming out with fake stories and attacking it, trying to knock it down to stop the momentum. Then they tried to use the holidays to manipulate it lower. Then they used the tax selling season to manipulate it lower. At the end of the day, if you're a short seller, you want to sell stock higher because when the company does sell, you make more money. They don't even let it get to that point. And how do I know that? I work for short sellers, real short sellers, and we always wanted our stocks to go higher because when they failed, we made more money. No one ever sold it lower, trying to manipulate it, trying to get people to get bailed out. I never, ever did a trade like that. Never. When the stock was running up, we laid into it and shorted it. That's how it works.
You're not as smart as Jeff Easton.
Yeah, Jeff Easton, right? He traded Yahoo, and he's a genius. You're right. Everybody I know trading those stocks, you won one time, you lost two times. That's how it works with those stocks.
Yeah.
And they were that crazy.
Day trading is not easy, and you've got to have a mentality.
Well, the problem is with day trading, for people that trying to get into it, you have to figure out your pattern and stay in your guidelines. Do not change.
Right.
Meaning that if a stock starts to break down, you need to bail out. So you take a minimal, you take a small loss.
Right.
What we all do, and we all do it, we sell our winners too soon and we hold on to our losers too long. An example, real time.
Whoa.
GDC. No, GDC. I bought it. I'm holding on to it. I'm down over $1 something. And I'm staying too long. And, when it goes now, let's say it starts to run and it gets to 5 or 6 and I'm up $2, I'll probably bail out. Only because my mentality is that.
Right.
And then the stock will go to 500 on me and I'll be cursing. That's what'll happen. Because I got a bad taste of the stock going down because I bought in at the wrong price and I bought in too soon, and whatever the example is, that's what we all do. And it happens to everybody.
That's going to be your Florida State ticket.
Oh, geez. I got to watch my poor team Saturday. All the kids quit the team. They went to the pros, or they opt out, as they say, and they don't play. So I'll take.
Oh, because they don't want injury?
Yeah. There's no reason to play the game. It's, they got skunked by the college football. So there's no reason to play. Listen, there's Super Bowls for the championship, right? No one's playing to come in third, right? They don't play that game. This is what this is. Doesn't make a difference. Anyway, I want to just go back to the fourth thing. Go. Stay focused. Anna, Busy, whoever else is involved there, John Berta.
Junk Savvy.
I can't remember everybody's names. Again, all the people that are good people, please stay focused.
Syntax.
Get up today and go after new senators, representatives. Keep expanding that. They're trying to shut that down. You got them. They're exposed. They can't handle this. You got them there. Finger motion. I have 2 law enforcement agencies, and they told me the first of the year they were getting back to me with their plans. That's coming up. I expect the company to do something shortly. All the big holders say things are going to start happening. Okay, let's see it happening. So what are they waiting for? Obviously, it's going to be the first of the year around there. So let's see what happens. There's 205 million shares short. Let's say I'm crazy. It's only 5 million shares.
You're
If I was
crazy.
short 5 million shares, would I not cover it here? Would you not cover it? Absolutely, you cover it. What are they doing? They're pressing their bet because they can't cover it because it is 205 million. Same thing with MMTLP. Why don't they settle it? Because it's a fucking mess. That's why.
Close your
There you
ears,
go.
Celeste.
Say it again.
I just said to Celeste she has to close her ears.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is she back in school yet? How old is she?
She's on holiday. It's Christmas holiday.
Okay, I'm sorry. I lose track of it.
Don't worry,
It's
it's
the same
your
day to me.
it's your time to talk.
Well, you
Don't
have
worry.
to let me know. I'll get rid of my potty mouth. I'll do the right thing. I've never cursed in front of my family ever.
Well,
I never do. But in front of you, I'll sound like I belong on a pirate
on a
ship.
trading
Right.
desk. Yeah.
The same thing as a pirate ship. That's exactly right.
I can't find the question, but somebody asked, do you think GTII can still go to high numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that finger motion will ignite GTII. I've said it. I can't tell you how many times I've said that.
Here's a wiseacre. He says every 0.0012 counts. He's just teasing about the trading that's going
Oh,
on.
I'm running out to pick up my son. I'm sorry. I'm on the move.
Yeah, 0.0012 they trade by.
Yeah. Listen, all they're doing is selling stock back and forth in both those names. All it is trying to annoy you, to show the stock is going lower. They're trying anything they can to make it look lower. This morning, finger motion, I watched it this morning. You know, the stock was traded 100 shares, 500 shares. The market opened at 9:30. Boom, 30-something thousand goes off at 382 at the low. They had a buyer and a seller at 9:30 in 1 second. Everybody was matched up. If you've ever worked on a trading desk, you know how hard it is to find the buyer and seller at the same price in 1 second.
Oh, that's the benefit Ken Griffin brings to the market.
That's what they do. They prearrange these trades. I worked on a trading desk to find, when I have a buyer, to find a seller, you're talking 50 phone calls, then they come back, negotiate a price. These guys had it in 1 second. The market was open, it was done. And it was 30,000 shares, 30-something thousand, whatever it was.
Will Finger do a dividend? Will it be restricted?
I don't know, but they've been instructed to do something. Every big holder has attacked the company. That I can tell you. That's
What do you mean attacked? They've called in and said do something.
demanded
Yeah.
that the company act and do something.
Yeah.
And I have assurances that they are. So when are they doing what they're doing? I don't know.
Can brokers just do this forever?
Yes. Forever. I've been doing it for 24 years. Yeah, they've
That's
been doing
not
it for 24
forever.
years. Well, that's for me. I don't know. They've been doing it since 1988 minimum.
Ask
It goes back a little bit
Ozymandias.
It goes back a little further because there's I can find the SEC report that shows it a few years earlier where they discuss it. But again, this has been going on a long time. And all the people you see on TV, from Carl Icahn owning a piece of Ladenburg Thalmann back in the day, you can Google that. Everyone's accused him of naked short selling using that firm, the broker dealer. They own their own broker dealer. These guys, all these guys you see on TV, they all did it. You can't possibly get this rich, okay, making billions and billions of dollars like Ken Griffin from Citadel. There's a train. Maybe I'll get someone to jump in front of it.
Celeste is 5 years old. She's in kindergarten and she's off this week.
Right.
And she looks up to you as a role model.
Well, thank you, Celeste. And I am a role model. I thought I was with adults here, and I'm sorry.
No, she's all right.
No, listen, I
Her
don't wanna-
her
I
father
don't
can
wanna go
kick
to
your
school.
butt in
I don't want to
pickleball.
go. I don't want her to go to school and tell everybody she's listening to some animal on a call every day.
No, you're always respectful. Does it cost Lind or their associates a lot to wash trades to keep the price down?
Everything they do is cost them money. Everything costs to carry, costs to do these trades. You know, they are bleeding every day. And that's why you see the manipulation trying to move it down. If they were short, the stock would, if they were doing it normally, the stock would have 35, 40,000 shares of volume every day, nothing going on until it was time to move. But they create all these volume. Like I left, it was 150,000 shares in the same spot. And this is a thin stock with 24 million shares in the float. How's it trade 150,000 in the same spot up and down a nickel? That's manipulation. That's them going back and forth. When a buyer shows up, even for 2,000 or 3,000 shares, the stock has a different look. When there's no buyer there, you can see that the offer stays there. The bids all disappear. Like I saw it before, it was 403 bid for 100 and 2,000 offered at 407. Without a trade, the 403 bid dropped to 396. But no trade. They won't even sell 100 shares. They just dropped the bid. So they were spoofing a bid. The bid disappears. And next thing it's 396 to 406, then 396 to 402. Then it comes back. A bid comes in at 4, and then it goes back to 4 or 405, whatever the hell it is.
Is it one entity, Lind Partners, doing all the corrupt selling on Finger, or is it multiple guys working together?
Now, Lynn has his cousin or his mom running an account somewhere in Germany or wherever the country they're doing it from. There's nobody, naked shorts don't go play in each other's sandbox, especially on a small stock like this.
Do naked shorts ever get involved in a stock which does not have a toxic convertible note?
Yes, they do. But they do not get this big because there's no way to cover.
Right.
They use the toxic note as their leverage. That's like their.
So let me ask you, do they, if a company signs a toxic note, do other naked shorts or criminals just start selling even though they're not involved? You just said they don't get in.
No, you're talking about, they do get involved, because you see Timothy Sykes and these capybara. You see these other vultures coming around.
Right.
But they're brought to the table by the short seller who needs help.
They need help. Yeah, they need help.
Yes. So they get these guys to attack on a given day, and they get 20 or 30 of them to work together. And what do? They all sell at the same time, with the big short overseeing the whole thing, protecting them all. All right. That's what happens.
Right.
They get protected by them, and that's what happens. And they bring it to the table. As soon as the bear raid is over and the naked short helps the Timothy Sykes, and they're all covered and they're all taken care of. They all made a quick payday. They go back to the bench. It's like a baseball player. They're like a relief pitcher. They bring him in. He has to earn his pay. So they come in, they kill the stocks down, and then they leave. That's it. They go to the next stock. They left Finger. They went after SHOT, right? They went after SHOT. Now they're after MMTLP. They keep changing the game. But in the MMTLP, they're wasting the breath. The thing doesn't even trade. That means the only thing they're trying to do is discredit you in front of.
Which is good for us, because if it did trade, they'd have it at a penny, because there's
you'd be fighting it every day.
It'd be 0.000001 to no bid.
Right.
Would the regulators be as brazen as to just completely ignore MMTLP and the investors' movement?
Will they be that brazen? They did already. Where you been?
Yeah.
It's a year. Just go watch Gary Gensler stutter and say, it's that other company that they changed the name. Talk about deflecting and changing the subject. Just give us the audited numbers. That's it. What is that circle that idiot Ham put up with the DTC and all the brokerage firm? What are those numbers at the brokerage firms? That's all you need to know. Just get one. You get one and it'll show you. The
One and
DTC
done.
has a different number and the brokerage firms have a different number. That's it.
Yep. Michigan football. Somebody said that. Go blue. Celeste is asleep. That's good.
I put her to sleep. That's good. Okay. Your viewers are sound asleep. They're falling asleep on us.
And then one guy's saying that Ken Griffin puts a program where they already preset the stocks prices. Maybe. I don't know that answer.
I have no idea what Ken Griffin and their program is. I don't know what they determine, how they do it. But again, he told you point blank, that's what they do. It's just like Jim Cramer telling you how to manipulate stocks in his video with Aaron Tesk back in 2005.
Oh, yeah. And they all did it. Here's your new slogan. If the criminals thought they could win, they wouldn't pay Forbes for a hit piece on stocks they shorted.
I'll take care of that when I get home. Thank you. That's a good one. Wait, the best is that hit piece, the stock doesn't even trade. I don't even understand what they're doing.
Timothy, yikes.
Why would anybody waste their time on something that doesn't trade? That's like writing the Yankees go out and write. Yankees have an awful team. That's why they didn't make the playoffs. No kidding. We all know. They're wasting their time. There's no.
That's why they didn't get those 2 Japanese players.
Right. No, they don't want to be in New York. But again, what they're writing, these stories are worthless.
You need to see Beekeeper. Apparently, you are the beekeeper in that movie. I don't know.
I wish I was I want to be like Reacher. I wish I was like Reacher and go take.
I like that guy Reacher.
I'd throw him out the windows like he does.
He's much more believable than Tom Cruise, although Tom Cruise is pretty good. But
I like Tom Cruise.
I like him all right.
He's a little shorter than him. That's
well, you know, if there weren't short people, there wouldn't be tall people. Beekeeper is you, Ham, running into SEC, taking names and kicking butt.
I wish I was that crazy. I wish I was that crazy. Listen, my job, and no one hired me for this, is to help fix and help save your ass from getting ripped off. And as you can see, I put up a stock yesterday. Lynn Partners funded Indian David. I found it. They gave him $3.5 million. The stock went straight to zero.
Hey, wait a minute. You're being nefarious.
It was an
that was just a coincidence.
So Lynn invested $3.7 million into this company and didn't even get a drink. Think about that. The company went to zero, and yet Lynn is up 220%.
You're being nefarious. That's just coincidence.
No, it's proof. It's right there. You can sit there. I have nothing to do with it. I just by accident bumped into it. And they funded this company.
What's the name of the company?
I don't know. Its symbol is Indian David. 2 simple letter ID.
Well, see, I know CEOs don't listen to me, but if you do business with the Lynn Partners, you might as well go up a string of McDonald's stores. That's how hard you're going to work and how much money you're going to make.
You're going to work hard and you lose all your money.
Yeah, you'll lose all your friends, all your family investors, all your investors, all your credibility. And then Jeff Easton will say, hey, not me. It's not me. I didn't do it. Just look what happened to CRTD. That's the CEO who trusted and believed in Jeff Easton.
Yeah, it's a penny. Working like a dog, yelling every day. It's. I tell people all the time. I told you I spoke to his CEO. I can't remember what his name was, and
Sucker.
First I asked him how old he was. He said he was 55.
Oof.
And I told him he better off go and work at Walmart And then after I insulted him and his lawyer, the next thing I said to him, what color is your certificate? From your ownership. And he goes,
I hope
"What?"
it matches your bathroom decor.
That's what I told him. It's gonna be wallpaper. That's what I told him. You're never gonna sell a share. If you sell one share, the shareholders will hang you. And the shorts use that against you. That's one of their key points. Oh, he sold stock. Get rid of it. He's selling it. He's dumping it. That's what people get stock for, to sell it. Any other questions?
Yeah, there's a gentleman asking, I'm going to abbreviate it, but basically it boils down to same old, same old. Is this dead money going into the new year? Look, yes, probably for the next 2 days it's dead, but in the new year, things can happen. And he's new. He didn't listen to you earlier. So my summary is Finger has some things coming. Once Finger goes up, GTII will like a step
That's
system.
their biggest fear is that once we run them over somewhere and expose them, the Army will have 10 times more money, and we can pick and choose where we're going to go and save somebody next. I'm telling you point blank, Finger Motion's going to go first, only because I think they have fundamental news and things happening on the legal side
and earnings.
And that I forgot about that. And I believe that that's going to ignite the stock.
Also, these criminals have investors to speak to. This is the end of the month, but more importantly, it's the end of the year. You want to show your big profits for bonuses. The bonuses aren't paid on cashed out trades, at least in some cases. I'm sure on a trading desk they are.
For everyone who thinks that they sell it and buy it back, I think it's 200 million shares they've sold and the volume is there. Tell me where you see them buying it back. Usually when people buy back stock, the shares go up, not down.
And it would show in your watching of the stock, wouldn't it? They'd have to report it at the end of the day if they crossed the stock in a block.
Listen, spoofing and washing are criminal trading strategies that have been, people are going to jail for that. Lynn Partners and the Kramers and Alpine, all these guys do the same thing. And you're seeing it right now. They just go back and forth. Investors, we can't do it. I'm not buying and selling and crossing 30, 40,000 shares to make, volume. I'm not doing that. If anyone buys a share on the close to close the stock higher, they get shut down by their brokerage firm. Am I correct, William?
Right.
The shorts do it at the end of the day. It's no big deal.
What's your minimum target for FNGR? Ahmed wants to know. On the upside.
Well, before they take me away to the nut house, I think we could be north of 1,000 easy. That's my opinion.
So Ahmed, that's a pretty high number.
You can get out at 10 if you like. That's your business. You get out whatever makes your family secure, do whatever you have to do. But I do believe that the only reason we have this life-changing opportunity is because of security fraud. And that is thanks to the SEC looking the other way, which you can see yourself, right? You can see the truck's been there 13 times outside their door reporting the crime. Seems like the only people that get paid off the crime are short sellers.
This gentleman points out that earnings didn't do a thing last quarter, but Tom, that's true, Thomas. But this time I expect that it's going to be earnings positive. Earnings positive.
Let me address.
All right.
It didn't do anything, but it makes you feel comfortable that I own a stock that I know is fundamentally sound. And that's why I don't panic when I see this stuff. All right. And again, like GTII, which is building into a company, is very different than Finger Motion. All right. And the mistake they're making in GTII is that they're leaving it at a low level where people take speculative bets on stocks. If GTI was 5, it'd be very dangerous to stand around while they're waiting to build the business. GTII is 40 something cents. And that is a very easy speculative bet. It's an option that doesn't expire, and people are willing to take a shot on that. So if Finger was to explode, let's say Finger goes to 30. I know people that would sell it and say, okay, I made 24 points in Finger. I can spend at least $1 of that profit and buy GTII, right? And that's what's going to hurt them. That's what's going to kill GTII for them. Trying to the two different companies, they're not tied together. And just think of what I just told you. And there's many people I know that have big positions in GTI and Finger would love to take some of that FU money, as we call it. Celeste, that means free money, by the way, not the other meaning. And they would invest and double and triple down on a stock that is very low price.
Yeah. I didn't walk away and use the restroom while you were talking, so I listened to everything you said.
Any other questions?
Yeah, there are. I'm trying to screen them for everything you do. And
Well,
he
listen, you don't
thanks
have to
everyone
thank
else.
me. Listen, I appreciate everybody else. Again, just, be a leader.
Where do you
Don't
get
let
your
these people-
haircut? That's an impressing question.
What do I get? My wife uses the thing we use to shave the dogs to shave my head. That's it. After the dog gets their haircut, I'm next.
If somebody held past, if someone were to try to get 1,000 in Finger, would they still have time to buy GTII?
I don't believe so.
So what you got to do is just take some profits, accumulate if you want to GTII as it goes up.
Listen again. When we get you'll know that the signs will be there. You'll see it. I told you, I'm unleashing law enforcement on Finger Motion. It's very easy. Capybara made it super easy. Benzinga made it easy. The numbers are right there. Their fake reports versus the company's actual numbers filed with the SEC are pretty easy to see. The discrepancy and the make-believe negative stories that they put out, and the attack. A Capybara attack the stock went from 717 to 48 to be exact, on 4.5 million shares that day. So they took down the stock almost 2 3/4 points, right?
Yeah.
2 3/4. The whole company's capitalization is $50 million. So you're talking about almost $3. That's $150 million that was looted out of shareholders.
That's it.
Thanks to Capybara.
That's it.
$150 million in market cap was ripped off.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much to see it. We know who the guy did it was Capybara. Mark Bazile filed a lawsuit against Capybara. Capybara DK didn't show up. They're in default. So there's your criminal right there. They didn't show up because they forgot. They had plenty of time. The court even gave him an extension, right?
That's right.
And he's doing it from Brazil.
So
The financial research capital of the world, Brazil.
So this is a disappointed investor, but I will start by saying I lost my butt in CRTD, but he's saying the CEO you touted, me, I guess, as being an expert in battling short sellers from her.
He is.
You guys thought he was great.
I thought, listen, I helped him when he gave that speech at that conference.
I thought he was courageous.
I met with him. He was great. He was ready to go. But what did he do? He needed to build his business and needed money, and he just did what he had to do. I can't stop him about that. The guy made bolder statements than anybody I know as a CEO. Go watch his video when he was at that conference.
Yeah, I just think what people have a hard time understanding of his intellect is that sitting across the conference table is a liar that looks just like him, but they don't realize it. Anyway,
Well,
You're
I think he realizes it, but I think he needs the money. He has a business that needs to be funded. And CEOs get desperate because they don't want to fire their employees, give up on their dream or whatever he's doing. Just go watch the video and you tell me when that guy spoke at that conference in New York City when we first met him, how bold and how strong he was.
I thought he was
Went
really
on-
courageous, and I thought he recognized it.
At that point, after that, he went on crack, and that was the end of him. What am I going to say? I don't know what happened to him.
I don't know if you follow NVOS, but this guy's asking, why is it a dog ever since Daniel Borders pumped it up? I don't know.
I have no idea. I don't know nothing about the company.
The only thing I liked, I think it's NVOS. There's one of them.
I've spoken to that guy, Dan Borders. You know, he's a good guy. I mean, he doesn't control the company. So listen, I picked Florida State to win the national championship. I went 13-0 and I lost my money. Dan Borders, I don't know, maybe he picked the wrong stock. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
People are trying to fight against criminals. It's not easy.
But also you can have good guys that get called by companies, maybe even paid by companies. You never know. Sometimes it's normal. That's all normal. But they get on board, and behind it is a criminal short that as soon as the stock's up, they're going to sell it down.
Listen, look at Charlie Eddie Indian. I spoke with the CEO. He did nothing. He got destroyed. I spoke with the CEO, MULN. He finally coming around after 100 years of fighting. Now he's actually stepping up. You know, now he wants to fight. You know, so again, he will now he wants to fight back. You know, I told him when the stock was 50% and 8 reverses ago, you know, and now he's fighting back. What am I going to say? I don't know the guy. I tried to help him.
Do you think GDC will run in January?
You talk about being a loser. I picked that one and I watched ALT go up $7, whatever the hell it went up.
But here's the problem with it. You pick a loser. I bought GDC because Ham did. I didn't know what I'm doing. But as soon as you get out, it runs. So it's tough.
Listen, again, we all suffer the same fate, you know.
But there's
Again,
a buyer of
I'm
a million shares.
I'm there for a reason. One of the biggest investors in Finger Motion and GTII, who's put up millions and millions of dollars into those names, and who I developed a relationship with, bought this stock, and that's why I'm there. Do I need to yell at him? No. So that's what I did.
Let's see. Law enforcement updates.
I gave you that.
I know. I'm just running through. Ham should change his name to HAMM. Ham. I guess that's the son of.
What?
I don't get that. I don't get that joke. Is that the
I don't
son
even
of
understand
Moses?
where Ham came from. So please go easy on me. I don't know why.
Maybe you should
I used
change
to
your
call-
name to.
I think I was Jackass before. I can't remember. I was Jackass before. They kicked me off Twitter. The shorts beat me up and kicked me off.
You should be. You change your name. Leave the A out. Just
I like that one. Can I do that?
Your friend who Jack Reacher went to West Point, and your friend who you borrowed his car for a cruise, he found Bernie Madoff more honest and competent than all of the FBI and Secret Service officials.
Oh, he would know. He was with him. So he would know that.
Look, guys, Bernie Madoff, I don't know the situ completely, but when Wall Street needs a sacrificial lamb, they kick somebody out that's not part of the chosen group. They did it with Mike Milken, but when I was at Merrill was doing the same stuff, just bigger scale than Mike Milken, and not as effectively, not as well. But they needed to distract the media. I'll alert the media. We're running out
Yeah,
of questions.
that's a good point. I agree with that. They needed to get rid of him, and that's what they do.
The son of Ham. Wickedums. You have a wicked mind. He says, if the SEC keeps missing your truck, post it on Pornhub so they see it.
That's a good idea. We'll take a video of Pornhub and then the truck in the middle of it. I'm going to do that. Thank you. That's a good one.
Just put it on fans only or whatever.
I'm going to make the gentleman who helps me out get a picture of Pornhub and stick in the middle of it, the truck.
Or you could have
have
that picture and then it opens alluringly to the mug of Gary Gensler.
That's a good one. I like that one. All right, let me recap everything.
All right, please recap.
I've told you, law enforcement, first week of the year, they're coming back with their vision of what they want to, how they want to attack us. I've been beating them over the head with data based on finger motion. The reason I've done it with finger motion because it's in real time, and I actually had the capybara report and the attacks at the last moment by these characters, which was very easy to see the short and distort because that's what the DOJ was looking for. Okay, so again, it was very easy to put it together. We put together with Avid's video of all the Lynn's abuses and all their trading. The guy from Australia who's up 220%, Hancock. So it was very easy to put the criminal case together for these guys. GTII, the criminals are just criminals. These guys are like, they're one step away from working in the car wash. So that's real low hanging fruit, those guys. All right, but they'll get theirs. They can't hide forever. All right, but again, we'll take care of them also. When the finger goes, we will be able to buy much more GTII because we all will have a lot more money to buy. So we will be able to step into the speculative play versus a company that has the fundamentals. You ask what the fundamentals are, just go to finger motion, watch the CEO, read their reports. I can't teach you about fundamentals. You make your own decision on that. Fundamentals make it easier for me to protect my family owning a stock versus a speculative play. All right, that's how I feel about it. And I can sleep at night knowing that the company's doing the right thing and it's going the right way. That's the difference. All right. Again, law enforcement, the MMTLP thing, it doesn't even trade. Why would anybody write a negative story about something that doesn't trade? Why is he throwing his hat in the ring? He's throwing his hat in the ring to discredit everybody so that DC can see it and say, oh my God, take my name off of this thing. This is a scam. That's exactly why they did it. That's it. And I want the people from MMTLP to band together, stop pissing on each other and fighting with each other, and go get more signatures. Be aggressive, go forward, don't go backwards. Get off your asses today and fight the battle. All right, you want your money back? You want to fight? You want to change the world? Get off your asses and move today. That's it. You're already invested. You're locked in. You're in over a year. Stop the crying. The shit happened already, and fight your way to get out of it. You want to win? Fight your way out of it. There you go.
It's well said.
And I think finger motion has a bunch of shit coming up. I know the biggest holders have reached out to the company demanding that they do a special dividend, whatever that may be. The company, I'm sure, has other things going on. Just look at they gave us an update on their big data recently. So if anybody who wants to know about fundamentals, because they have their cell phones, I put something up the other day. It was pretty funny. I was looking at a sports ticket, and the only way you can get a sports ticket to the event, it has to be on your cell phone. So you must have your cell phone to enter with an electronic ticket. You're not going to bring your laptop with you to an event, whatever it may be. So you have to use your cell phone for the electronic ticket, right? In China, there is no money. You have to use your cell phone for everything. Finger motion is the gatekeeper in the cell phone community in China. You have to pay with them to buy the minutes. Finger motion gets to see what you do with your cell phone. It is the future, and that's where the big data play comes in. And that's what this company does. Do your own homework, make your own decisions on it. So these guys bet against the wrong company, and now they're trapped.
But do they
And they
have a path to profitability?
Well, that's what the one guy said, right? The other guy said that.
I'm being a jerk. I know. That's
I
right.
just say, no, listen, I can't remember every gory detail, but that's what you have to look at it. And because of that, I feel comfortable being where I am.
Yeah.
If I didn't feel comfortable, okay, when the stock went to 10 on the first one of the squeezes up to 10, I would have sold it and left town and said, take it easy. If I thought that's what all it would be.
Yeah.
But Lynn decided to press their bet, out of control press their bet, thinking that we would walk away.
Yeah.
And they would have been right if I would have thought that, hey, just a quick squeeze like ALT is a quick squeeze to me. I would have sold it. I would have sold it at 10. I wouldn't have waited to 12. I bought it at 550. I would have sold it at 10. See you later. It went to 12. Big deal. I could kill less. That's what I would have done in Finger if I didn't believe what they were doing.
Yeah.
But I believe what they're doing, and I got the numbers that Lynn is pressing their bet. So that tells me that when it does fold, it's not going to 10. It's going north of 1,000 now. So why would I sit around going to chase my tail, going to play NVOS or whatever that symbol was? I can't remember all the symbols you talk about. And
Sure.
Why would I go chasing all these names where I could sit back and say, okay, I have a company that has fundamentally sound, doesn't need money, and is going the right direction, and there's a short that's trapped. And now, on top of it, we now have law enforcement looking at it. We trapped the fake. We got the guy who did the fake report. We got him already. He defaulted. Now Mark Bazile can go get Interpol to go after them for criminal charges. The DOJ and the FBI, it's a short and distort case. It's right there. We did half the case for them already. Mark Bazile has all the information. Mark Bazile has connections to the FBI and Secret Service himself. So it's up to him to refer the case upstream. I'm sure the Southern District will refer the case. The judge is going to say, okay, these guys just robbed this company of $150 million. It's not stealing a candy bar. These guys belong in jail. It's a criminal activity. It's like the mafia. Go get them. So that's their future. That's in Finger Motion. From that, it'll spread into GTIA, MMTLP, go get your congressman, and we keep going down the road. That's it. There's nothing else I can say. All these stocks that are being manipulated, I can't tell you to play them. Listen, I'm only following somebody in GDC. I know nothing about it. Not happy about it, but I am following them because I trust them. And that's it. If you don't have trust in somebody, I would never follow them. My friend who told me to buy ALT is a big biotech guy on the street. He told me about it, and that's why I trusted him, and I said something about it. Wolf, I met the people at a conference. They were speaking, and I listened to everything they said. And when they said they use nuclear power, and they helped build nuclear power plants, where these guys helped design Mara and Riot before that, and this is their new venture using nuclear power, I think these guys know what they're doing. And that's why I followed Wolf. That was it. And me and my friends put away, I don't know, I think 4 or 5 million shares. The last time they sold it, my friends said they made all collectively about $80 million in this name. So I have to follow them, right?
Yeah.
And that's, if you could sit there and say, how did these guys make so much money in such a small piece of garbage stock? It went from 60 cents to 4, back down, back up, back down. Well, this is where the money's made. It's not made trading Tesla. Not everybody has $300 to buy stocks. That's a lot of money when you got to stop buying those stocks, right? Capital, you need capital on those things. They move fast, but how do you get in and out of them, right? But in the small cap stocks, imagine being on the short side, selling the shit out of Wolf for whatever millions. The thing's traded 30 million shares today. Imagine doing 5 days of shorting 30 million a day. Before you know it, you're in, 150, 200 million shares short. Goes down $1, and you're plus $200 million. That'll make your fund strong, right? CEI traded 1 billion shares. Let's say the average price was 3. The stock is now a penny. They made $3 on 1 billion shares. $3 billion naked shorting this company. Think about those numbers. Now I gave you the high was 5, so I'm just picking the middle, saying 3. Even if it was 2, their average, they made $2 billion. You can't make $2 billion trading Tesla. Maybe, what's his name, Kenneth Lin, trading Yahoo. He can do that, but no one else can.
No, he's a genius.
Right.
You're nefarious just for bringing his name up.
I can't say his name. His name is all over the place. It's freedom of speech. I'm just reading the tape. He invested $3.7 million.
I mean, just off the top of your head, how many companies can you name that the CEO signed a deal with Jeff Easton, Philip Valier, Hailey Kim, Sam Chung, and John Howard? How many people, CEOs, signed a deal and their company is in the gutter now?
Every one of them that does it.
I can think of CRTD, Vocal. Finger is up because of you and investors. You just named 3. CEI. No,
Well,
ID.
One of the favorite ones I found was this SYTA. It was $10 they gave him money, and the stock is worth pennies. SYTA. Just go
and
back.
Then SEEL or something like that.
They just killed that one. Yeah, SEEL. There you go.
I mean, but you're the one that's nefarious, and I am for pointing out the pattern.
Well, as Richard said, the pattern's always the same.
Well, what Richard says is always the same too.
Well, again, I'll just say it again. Finger Motion is the lead on the federal investigations into fraud and criminal charges. All right. What the company does, I believe in the company. Make your own decisions on that. GTI will follow what happens with Finger Motion because there's a lot of money that can come into that. My friends who own a lot of Wolf, when that starts to really run, they're going to sell it by Finger Motion. So people say, where are the buyers? Well, I just told you what one guy's going to do. Not everyone has endless resources. You have to sell something to buy something else. When GDC runs, I will sell it and take that money and profit and buy more Finger Motion. But it's unfortunate that I won't be able to get it at 4. I may have to pay 6 for it, but that's what I do. So instead of getting, whatever amount of shares I can get at this price, I have to pay higher and get less. That's just the way it goes. Timing is everything, as they say, right, William?
Timing.
Yes.
Yep, timing is everything.
Anything else?
Not really. There's nothing. I mean, I'm looking at comments, but they're not.
Again, my gut feeling is Finger Motion's going to go soon. That's my gut feeling on it. There's many different angles of upside information coming out here. So I really like that. Again, GTII, I know people that have been adding it a little every day. And, they're getting an average on it because they know that when Finger goes, they'll miss this one. When Finger runs through 10, okay, when it starts to run, GTI will be at least $1.50 going towards 2. That's just the way it's going to happen. So again, I don't know what day Finger's going to go, but that's a different story.
All right.
All right. And that, like I said, and MMTLP, I gave you your marching orders there, and I'm going to go design the Pornhub with the truck in the middle of it right now.
And then have the link go to a picture of Gary
like
Gensler's mug.
It's going to be Hollywood squares of naked girls, and the middle is going to say the truck. Thank you very much, whoever said that. That was a good one. That got me. All right, let me get to work. Anyway, listen, any questions, feel free. And William, if you need me, I'll be around this afternoon. So if you need me to come back on, let me know.
All right. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Oh, I thought he'd never end the call. No, just kidding. All right. So I just want to point out to you guys something. In the new year, which is after this weekend, Novak Djokovic will have 406 total weeks at number 1 in tennis. That puts him number 1. That'll be 406. Number 2, Roger Federer, 310. Number 3, Pete Sampras, 286. Number 4, Ivan Lendl, 270. Number 5, Jimmy Connors, 268. Number 6, Rafael Nadal, 209. Number 7, John McEnroe, 170. Number 8 might surprise you, Bjorn Borg, 109. And number 9, Andre Agassi, 101. So anyway, I'm rooting for the Joker. There were a couple of questions here about Logic and CAUD. Let me just go through the prices of some stocks, see where we are. I'm gonna end in 20 minutes because I didn't expect to come on this early. I haven't eaten, haven't really dolled myself up, and I didn't do my 2 errands last night when I was talking to you, and I didn't do them this morning, so I have to go do them now. Well, I'll go at 1 o'clock. CAUD is selling at 128, 126 to 128, 367. Here's my take on that. See, the highly educated, exceptionally talented board at CAUD was taken to the cleaners by either, and I don't know, by either the sponsor of the SPAC, which was Brownstone, by the SPAC, Aubrey SPAC, by the investment advisor Chadron, by the hedge funds, there's 2 of them. Anyway, the main one is Polar, and or by the attorneys that represented the Aubrey SPAC. 1 or 2 of the Aubrey SPAC people are still on the board. They still listen. They still go to Brownstone for financing. They still are hooked at the hip with the hedge funds, Polar and the other, by the contract. And I won't go through the disappointing decisions made again. I've done it ad infinitum. But the stock is at $1.26, and the new CEO, who was voted as one of the top 100 angel fundraisers, angel investors in the country, just time-stamped, and agreed that his company is worth what the criminals fraudulently sold the stock down to. That's ignoring the third-party valuation. That's ignoring what the investors came in at on the valuation of Aubrey SPAC. He vouchsafed, this is what my company is worth. And the board went along with it. Now, apparently it was the founders, or the sponsors of Aubrey SPAC, which put up this money. Well, they also just put a stamp on it that it's worth what, 18 million. My arithmetic was wrong yesterday in the heat of the battle. Right around 18 million instead of the 114 million. Well, that's what they did. There it is. So that's the new price we have to deal with. 18 million in valuation. Not 114, not $10, not $12, not $25, not $38. The board and the CEO and the sponsors have agreed that the company is worth what the criminals got the price down to. That's just the facts, Jack. That's just the facts. So what does that mean? I think it's a really bad precedent for what's ahead. They raised $600,000. My opinion, for what it's worth, the board had enough firepower with Peter boards to just say, you know what, we'll raise 750,000. Each one of us on the board will ante up, and we'll do it at $8 a share. Now, in return for our accepting a much higher price than the price the criminals just created, we're going to also issue to ourselves warrants at $15 a share. Okay. That would give confidence to the market. But they didn't do that. They put a timestamp and a valuation stamp at the lowest possible evaluation that the criminals priced. I just recently, not recently, it's actually a bit of time, got burned by really trusting someone and caring deeply about someone. And it took me a long time to realize, wait a minute, maybe I was played. Maybe I was played. And it took me a really long time. Why? Because the human being can't believe, whether it's in love, finance, deals, other aspects of life, that they were played. But somebody out of the sponsor, Brownstone, Aubrey Spack, Chadron, played logic. It's just a fact. Now, they recommended turning to 2 hedge funds. Those hedge funds played what's now called collective audience. And the lawyers behind it, they said it's all okay. So the board gathers around. They all got ahead by doing things properly, going along to get along, grading on a curve, ending up at the top. Hey, you're special. But in this case, they're caught in a trap. We can't get out. But I love you, darling. So anyway, CAUD is 126 to 130. That's the risk. And the company has already shown, the new CEO, the new board has already shown a proclivity for just going along with what the people who they fell in love with and then got their feelings hurt. They can't believe that person didn't love them. It's the same mentality. I can't believe that these people don't have our best interests at heart. Look at this. If Brownstone, and I'm not saying that I don't know who they are, but if Brownstone were paid off by Polar to sponsor a SPAC, and then Polar funded, and this is a scenario I'm just hypothetically presenting. Polar arranged to have the SPAC funded, and then Polar got the monies back, and then as soon they delayed answering all questions, and they only raised $5 million to pay Chadron and the lawyers. Not enough for we, the shareholders. And then magically, Brownstone is the rescuer at the lows. Look, it's possible. Maybe it's not what happened, but it's possible. So then there's a huge kickback. Oddly, the numbers, by my view, the volume has been 55 million shares traded when there's only 500, 600,000 shares available in the real float. Now, there's apologists who cannot help but seeing it from their viewpoint that this is just back and forth trading. With what? With what? With what? That's back and forth trading? That looks like a nerve-shattering experience to me, sir. It opens at 30, goes up to 38. They stop trading. And this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know how you count that, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, almost 11 uninterrupted days of selling is back and forth trading. I don't buy it. I think the brain trust at Logic, more importantly at CAUD, has been had. Now, there's only 2 more days of trading in this year. There's the obvious target for the criminals is to drive CAUD under $1 so that future deal making, because they had 4 companies, I think it's up to 5 that want to roll in. They want to get it under $1 so that the deals are done dilutively. Massive amount of stock, because any CEO say, hey, wait a minute, you were going to promise us shares trading at $12. And now it's under $1. It's not yet under $1. I'm just saying this is the goal of the criminals. And again, it's either Chandron, Brownstone, the lawyers, somebody at Aubrey SPAC who's now at CAUD, Aubrey SPAC, Polar. It's one of the. It's pretty simple. But they can't accept that they were had. They can't accept that someone or more than one someone are working in collusion to steal from shareholders, to steal from these experienced and very smart deal makers. They were had. You were had. I was had. Now, it's 400,000 shares today. Let me see if there's any. There's supposed. Let me just check. I'm going to leave my senates undone. Before we sign off, I want to check something. No, there's nothing filed today. But it's my understanding from feedback from Twitter, which I didn't read, that there's insider buying in CAUD. That has to show up at the SEC. So that's a positive. I ask, why buy in the open market? If insiders are buying, why didn't they put a collective together and collectively buy shares, newly issued shares of collective audience at a collectively higher price to collectively kick the butt of the fraudulent collective of naked short sellers, counterfeiters? But see, they can't see it. There's nobody blinder than she who just won't see. All right, so that's the negatives. What are the negatives? Those are the negatives. The positives of CAUD. Hey, yes, we got screwed, but give the new guy a chance, give the new board a chance. They came in, the damage was done. This is America. We're going to do what we need to do today. And then today's a new day. We're going to fight in the new year. So let's take as little money as we can, which opens up the question, of course, when this money runs out, what's going to be there? So let's go through the positives. They took as little money as they could under the auspices of this price and the contracts which I think are all a greased wheel, and it's been done. The criminals, like the Rolling Stones song, are practiced at their art of deception. But all right, they didn't take that much, so the dilution isn't that bad. Although it doesn't matter. What they don't get is the warrants above market are given to prime brokers with lawyers' letters over and over and over again, and it just facilitates counterfeiting. But anyway, leaving that was the negatives. Let's talk about the positives. It's a small raise. Number two, insiders are buying. Number three, they put this collective brain trust together, which I think is brilliant. Number four, next 2 weeks, I think there's two news announcements potentially coming out. I don't know what they are. Number four, they've gotten the DataLogic engine running again. That can bring revenue to the table. Number five, Peter Boards and Elizabeth DeMars, even though they don't know, I was going to use a bad expression, they don't know, they don't recognize the criminality because the criminals look just like them. On the other hand, they have a big Rolodex. They know how to tell a story. So coming into the new year, they're going to tell the story. And then number six, perhaps they're going to do these investment raises in tranches that go up, up, up. But I emphasize they're going to have to snap out of it, and they're going to have to recognize that it was either Shad Drawn, Aubrey Spack, Brownstone, Polar, and the other fund, and or the lawyers that suckered them. This is the big sting with Robert Redford and Paul Newman. They got stung. It starts with the cold, hard truth. Starts with the cold, hard truth. Then, only then, can you start take actions. What's the obvious one? Get the roll-up companies together and roll them in at $8 a share, $10 a share, the original valuation. Use your salesmanship and put your own fortunes on the line at $8 a share. I will challenge you, Peter Boards, and I will challenge you, Elizabeth DeMars. This audience could raise money for you at $8 a share with warrants at a much higher price if the reason for that raise were to fund the roll-up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 companies, well, how many ever it was, at $10 a share. Give us $8, do those deals at $10, give us warrants at $15, and we will raise the seed money to get those deals done. You don't have the vision. You don't have the courage. You can't see beyond the liars across from you on the conference table. Bring us a roll-up at $10. We'll fund it at $8. Give us warrants at $12.50 for 3 years. We'll raise the money. Bring them on board. We will shiver me timbers to the Aubrey Spack liars, the Brownstone liars, the Polar liars, the lawyer liars. Is there such thing? Just need to say liars, and you got lawyers. The lawyer liars and the there's one more group I left out. Somewhere in there is your rat. We'll get them out now, but the time is to do it now before they get entrenched. When you see one rat, there's 26. When there's 26, there's 300. You got to nip them out now. But the beginning, Peter Boards, Elizabeth DeMars, take your blinders off. Someone you're dealing with lied to you. They disappointed you. They defrauded you, but more importantly, they defrauded us. You need $500,000, $1 million to get a deal done? Come to us. We'll do it above market. Just give us warrants well above market. But simultaneously, we won't do it just going into this vacuum. Simultaneously, give us a definitive agreement that you've rolled up 1, 2, or 3, or 4 of these companies at $10. And we'll come to your rescue. You don't have the vision. You don't have the courage to see out of the box. We'll do it for you. And to raise it at $8, you got to put up, let's say 25% of the money yourself as you sit around the board. And we'll blow these bastards out of the water. And then suddenly at $10, you roll in 3 or 4 companies and it's worth $25. We'll get that done for you. But instead, if you go back to Brownstone, Aubrey SPAC insiders, Jeff Tierman, if you go back to Polar, if you go back to those attorneys, and if maybe you go back to 1 or 2 of the people that are currently on your board, and you continue to believe their deception, their lies, I'm throwing down the gauntlet. Test us. All right, that's CAUD. It's 129.64, 380,000, 128 to 130. One of the insiders of the company, I call him an insider because he owns a lot of stock and he talks to everybody. He believes CAUD will be a $6 to $8 stock by the summertime. Let's call it August. So I currently believe that there's risk in this, but it's only because of the blinders. If they can take the blinders off and they can think in terms of raising enough money to rapidly ramp up revenues and earnings and cash flow, but do it at higher prices. Ignore these prices. What are you? Suck my thumb. For 11 days, they got the price down to 85%, and we can't raise any money any higher, and it's too risky. Well, then just resign the board. Just resign the board. Don't put me on it. I don't need any glory or anything, but put some of these investors on it. And we'll go raise money because we have the courage to go out to Wall Street and say, we believe the valuation. We don't believe the criminals. We're willing to do it at a higher price. And we're going to come for you. You sorry. Yeah, you liars. I'm not saying I'm not saying anything about I'm talking about the liars at somebody's a liar. The sponsors, the SPAC, the hedge fund, the financial advisors at Chadron, or the lawyers. There are no other players. Somebody's a liar. Or more than one. Let's get away from them. Fire the 2 people from Aubrey SPAC on the board. Fire the founders. Hey, it's not you, it's me. I had a bad childhood. I don't trust, I had a mother, she meant well, but I got to move on. You did a deal, you got your money, move on, you're gone. Fire Chadron. Fire him. Hey, you got your $2.5 million. You left us penniless. It's me, not you. See you later. Polar and the other hedge fund. Guys, you took $150 million out of the market. We'll see you later. And if you don't want to leave, we'll hire Mark Bazile and you're gone. Lawyers, you're liars. Sayonara. We're not listening to you anymore. That's your universe of liars. But if the board continues to listen to them, it's like a battered wife going back to the same man over and over and over and over again. It's like a beautiful young woman seduced by a pimp, hooked on drugs, and she loses her family, she loses her boyfriend, she loses her support group, and she needs a fix. She goes back to the pimp for a few more blows and gets a fix, but he doesn't give her enough money to stay away from him. He doesn't give her enough drugs to stay away because he needs her for something else. He has a network that has to abuse her. That's all. If you don't take your blinders off, that's all you're set up for. I don't care how smart you are, how much of a challenge you want to take on. You have a beautiful company. Brent Sun laid it up for you. Company after company to lock in. You have a tremendous engine in DataLogic. Take the blinders off. Somebody screwed you, and it might be more than one working in collusion. All right, that's enough on CAUD because it's already 1 o'clock. All right, somebody asked me about Logic. Said, take my nerves or something, reassure me. So Logic right now is at 0.069. It's 0.05 to 0.069. When I recommended it, here's my list. One of my lists of stocks. I have another list over there. One of my lists. Let's see if I have a list here. Yeah, here's the list I started from. And you'll notice I had Wolf on there. Unfortunately, I didn't do a video on Wolf. I will try to, but that was my original list that I showed you guys. And then I wrote down midday, these prices. I didn't put Wolf here. I don't know why. Just an oversight, but that was my original list. Finger is down. GTII is down. Logic is up. CAUD is flat. HNRC, I bet, is slightly down. Vocal is flat. GDC is, I think, down. And GoLogic and CVM. Wolf is up if we go to this list. And anyway, I have another list over on that table. But anyway, Logic is 5 cents to 7 cents. That's a pretty wide spread. It's 111,000 shares traded. The reason Logic is my number one January trade is this has been shorted when these are just props. When Logic agreed their deal with Aubrey SPAC, they moved DataLogic into Aubrey SPAC. That was the entire asset base. That's everything. So Logic becomes a shell. And the criminals and probably some legitimate traders said, you know what? That shell doesn't have anything in it. What's that worth? So it sold down, 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 down. Unfortunately, once they did the financing with Polar and the other hedge fund at the recommendation of Chandron and or Brownstone, Logic also got sold off. But here's the thing, which works to your advantage. I'm talking to the gentleman who's concerned. I bought more Logic. Let me tell you what I'll tell you what my average price is, just so you don't think I'm some sort of pump and dumper. take advantage of her, or that I'm a genius of some kind. Logic I've purchased. I bought it at higher prices. I bought it again. I always overpaid. So right now, my average price in Logic in my normal account is 15 cents a share. How's that? In my IRA, it's 35 cents a share for Logic. So I don't have enough capital to bring it down enough to take advantage of these low prices. But I did buy more on Tuesday. I guess Tuesday. I bought a little bit more, not very much, but I bought more. No, sorry, that was HNRC. I bought more last week of Logic. I bought more of Logic last week. Okay. So the gentleman, let me see if I can find your question about Logic so we can have it on the screen. I might not be able to. Oh, here it is. Calm my nerves. Okay, so let me just show you something. The shell of Logic that the criminals sell downward, normally that shell needs to raise more money, needs to sell more shares. So their goal is to get it down, 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 down. So what happens, and I don't think anyone on the board of CAUD is listening at this point, but what happens? All the criminals want to do is take your good story where there's huge value and huge upside. They want to destroy the denominator. That's all they want to do. So if this is billions and billions and billions of dollars, if they can turn this into billions and billions and trillions of shares, who cares? Who cares how good the value is? If you divide it by ever expanding number, if you don't know the denominator, you don't have a company. If you don't know the denominator, you can't raise money on Wall Street. You just have to keep going back to the pimp. Give me a little more of a fix. So what's the difference with Logic, PNW Texan? The difference in Logic Okay, so the difference in Logic PNW Texan is you've got the Logic shell. Now, it doesn't need to raise money unless it becomes an ongoing concern, which is possible, but it doesn't need money. It doesn't need to issue any more shares. It is attractive to companies because the company wants to IPO quickly, go on the NASDAQ, go on the NASDAQ is a joke. They need to go on the NYSE. This CEO, Adriana Friedman, she's just riding on the shoulders of men primarily, I think all men, that built up NASDAQ. And now that she's there, just benefiting from the reputation that used to exist. But anyway, so a year ago, Privco was the deal. There were 50 million shares out. Then the criminals got the shares up to 100 million. So there was a second company. And now Logic has 150 million shares outstanding now. So this Privco was 250 million in value. The second company was around 500 million, maybe 600 million. What I heard on the third company was that it was 700 million or more. But I didn't hear that from the company. Now, what that second company, they signed all the agreements, but it took so long that several additional transactions appeared before Brent. Now, Brent is running Logic. He's the CEO as a show. One thing I left out in my video is just because I got into a one track thought process. Logic can do a reverse merger. It can be part of a reverse merger, which means a company comes in, just buys the shell and goes on its way. But it's also possible that a company could come along and say, you know what? We want your investors. We like your expertise. We would just prefer to merge with you and then have you on board as we go on. It's a fine difference. They're both mergers. But the main difference comes out with what's the net to us. So, all right, let me just use a different, I don't want to ruin another piece of paper. Let me just use a different color. These are the rumors. Well, I mean, one is definite, but these are the rumors. And I would say now, I've heard higher numbers. I'm going to go with lower numbers right now. Okay, so in the first case, it was going to net to us 40 to 60 cents a share. That's what Logic would own at 10%, maybe an eighth of the new company. In the second, they let this one go because they had bigger deals. In the second deal, I heard 60, 70, 80 cents. Well, they've let that one go. Now, it could be those numbers, but I'm going to go with 40 cents to 60 cents. It could be in a merger, instead of a reverse merger, that we're left with, I don't know, 20, 30, 40% of the company. I assume it's going to be, if it is that way, it'll be a great company. High revenues, cash flows, earnings, and ready to hit the ground running. It'll be a NASDAQ. I hope it's a new NYSE company. So PN Woodhouse. Let me just tell you what that means. Let's use 40 cents a share. I'm not going to do the arithmetic. 40 cents a share. So they announce a deal that's worth 40 cents a share to Logic. Let's say they announce it as a definitive deal. A definitive deal, let's say the 4th week of January. All right. So PNW Texan, you've got to wait a month. Right? Remember, these were January effect trades. Let's say they announce 40 cents as a calculated value. What's the risk? I mean, it's an obvious risk. The number one risk is Wall Street will question the valuation that's given. It's the number one risk. Well, I don't know what I can't comment, but let's assume. Remember, I said the range was 40 to 60 cents. I'm using the lower end of that range to offset some of this valuation risk. But what are the positives? Positives, if it is either a reverse merger or just a sideways merger, I'm sure, since there's more than one company, there's going to be revenues, cash flows, and possibly earnings that will justify this value or higher. That's great. Awesome. It's like plug and play. It's incredible. Second benefit, that when they announce, I hope it's an NYSE company, but if it's Adriana's poor facsimile of a well-run exchange, NASDAQ, it's still better than the over-the-counter market. And it's probably going to be trading in much higher prices per share. So it's hard for the shorts to destroy it. So this is a positive. The final thing, once they announce a definitive agreement to either merge or reverse merger into a revenue cash flowing company worth 40 cents a share or more, and it uplists, the shorts are trapped. Whether they're legitimate shorts, counterfeiters, or both, they're trapped. They have sold Logic down as low as almost a penny. And the stock right now is trading at 7 cents. Well, just under 7 cents. They're going to look at this and they're going to go, oh my gosh, we've got to cover. All right, so what happens? I'm sorry this is taking so long. I'll finish with 3 points, 3 scenarios. What are the scenarios? Number A, the stock trades up. And all right, this is Ham. He probably has breaking news. Lucky for you. Hello? Yeah, I'm still on. All right, you guys are lucky. You get to hear Ham instead of me. Oh, hang on. Just wait a second. I've got to connect the speaker. It's not connected. Hang on. Relax.
Battery 40%.
Okay, here we
Connected to Bill's iPhone.
go. All right. Let's see. All right, let's see if it's connected in fact. All right. Oh, hang on. Hang on. God, this is frustrating. All right, you're connected.
Okay, Richard is not legal advice. Just sent me the link to the filing at the Southern District on Capybara, and I'm trying to get to read it. I just got it now to get a chance to read it, but I wanted to let William know about it. And I believe it's going to get pretty ugly for them. So again, this is Finger Motion, Capybara, the short, distort people that basically walked away from the court case, never filed, never answered the complaint, and now in default. And now the company gets the upper hand and they can attack. I guess there'll be criminal, there'll be all kinds of things that have come out of this thing. But we're trying to get the filing up there. I have it, and I sent it to William a few minutes ago. And Richard said he's going to do an update on it. So Richard, not legal advice. William, maybe you could show him his YouTube channel so people can actually follow and see what he has to say about this filing and what it means. All right, I'm not an attorney, but I'm just glancing at it. I can tell you that it's not positive for them. So again, I just want to let you guys know about that. All right. William, did I lose you? Hello? William. Oh, do you want me to keep talking while you go to the bathroom? Whatever the hell you doing?
I'm just getting something to eat.
All right, no problem. So I'll just keep talking. Again, I told you before that once Wolf breaks 3, my friends will start selling and they're going to start buying Finger. I just got the filing about the court on Capybara default to the final judgment. And just like when you lose the war, you have to pay the price. And there's a list of things in there that we'll try to figure out what's the best one. Hopefully we can get it up there. Richard is Not Legal Advice is doing a video on it. He will talk about it, and he's better at that than me. But I will be showing this to law enforcement to show the criminal activity and how the gentleman is from Brazil, which means they're offshore, and offshore means terrorists looting the U.S. equity markets using these tactics. That's what I'm presenting to the FBI, and Finger happens to be in the forefront of that. So that's what I'm trying to bring to your attention. Again, it's another piece of the puzzle. I didn't create this system of complete fraud, and we're just trying to fix it and do what we have to do to protect our investments. All right, William. So again, Richard is Not Legal Advice. If you get a chance, give everybody their YouTube channel so they can actually see when he's going to present. He said he was going to do a video on it. So, all right, but that was just late breaking news, just came out, and it was filed, and someone files these, or follows what's going on in the court, and there you go. All right, so
Awesome.
companies are moving it along. Companies are fighting back. And the fundamentals to trapping the crooks, it's going to lead, all roads are going to lead back to Madison Avenue, whether they like it or not. Just like Sedona got money from Amro. They were the funder. Finger Motion got money from Lynn. Amro hired Rhino Advisors to Naked Short. That's probably their cousins. And we don't know who Lynn Partners has as the executioner. All right. This has been going on for 20-something years. Everybody knows the pattern. It's the same thing. All right. These guys are not doing anything new. They're using the same techniques to rob everybody's money. All right. So I just wanted you to know that this just came out, and pay attention to Richard Not Legal Advice. Hopefully he can give us a clearer understanding, because I'm not an attorney and I couldn't possibly give you a clearer understanding if I didn't understand it myself. All right. But I know it's not positive for them and it's good for us. All right, William.
I will tell everybody Richard's YouTube channel, and hopefully people can listen to him.
So someone can post it and just pay attention to what he has to say. All right.
Okay.
That's our homework for the day for everybody. I'm sorry. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Call ended.
Okay. PNW Texan, just back to logic. And this is going to be it. Just 3 scenarios. In the short run, you can make your own decision. Once the company has merged, you can hold it for years if you want to. I'm just talking about trading in the short run. Okay, there's 3 scenarios. I think Logic will trade up over 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents, 25 cents, 30 cents. As the shorts cover, as the story gets out, there'll be an arbitrage between the 40 to 60 cents value. There'll be a spread. There always is. So the most likely thing is you'll see the stock go to 15, 20, 25 cents. The second most likely is the stock goes up and actually realizes a reasonable approximation of the real value of the merger. That's possible. And the final possibility is you get a bit of a short squeeze where it goes to $1, $1.25, maybe $2, $3, because there's a lot of stock that has to be covered. Now, PNW Texan, if you don't at least sell your original investment at 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents, I think you're being greedy. Right now, the stock is trading. And by the way, I have to do that too, although I have my break even's 15 cents. right now, if you were to buy Logic, it's 7 cents. So let's assume you paid 7 cents. If you don't take some of your money out when it doubles, so basically, if you paid 7 cents, 14 cents and 21 cents. Maybe wait till it goes to 21. Sell a third of your 21 cents. Sell a third of your shares. You have your original money out. Then you can wait for 40 cents. Or if there's a bit of a squeeze, wouldn't that be fun? Won't be, in my opinion, the highest will go is $1.25 to maybe $3 in a squeeze. But that'd be fun. So anyway, that's my answer on Logic. Let's look at HNRC. Yep, they got it down to 2 cent, 0.0211, 0.022. I'm not going to go back through. I did a video on it. 1.7 million shares. That stock trades like either the $10 million financing, which he announced and he never described, either that financing is toxic convertible. So whoever he went to, Smiling Faces, have just sold his stock down and they're just going to give him that money. Sold it down with unlocated, non-located, non-existent shares. Or he did a financing in the back. That's possible. The other possibility is he distributed WDHI, and so maybe the shorts are saying, hell, they already gave away the best part of the company. The only other negative might be the shorts are looking at that he has his earnings. It's all over on the other table, that the earnings are highly dependent on a one-off asset sale. Those are the negatives. The motivation of the shorts right now is to keep it down for their year-end profit representation. Okay, that's their end of it. As I see HNRC, the last earnings announcement, he published it, and he can go to jail if he's wrong. Of course, the shorts, they hide in a netherworld of fraud and legal protections and regulatory indifference. Goes right up to the head of NASDAQ. She couldn't care a whit. But anyway, he has announced he's going to do a dividend. Is it going to be cash or stock? I don't know. Is it going to be the full 15 cents or not? I don't know. But I think that'll be followed up on right away as we come around into January. The other thing, he did finalize the acquisition by HNRA, which is the SPAC that HNRC sponsored, the acquisition of Pogo Producing. I think it's 40%. There's real assets there. There's real cash flow there. And he's announced that he's going to distribute that as a dividend. So I think HNRC is a steal at 0.022. You can hold it longer term. You can hold it for the cash dividend, which I think will be higher than 2 cents a share. You can hold it for the HNRA dividend, which I think will be 30 or 35 cents a share in value. Or you can just trade it, just get out of it in January. And you have to wait till the end of January probably. But I think that stock can trade back to 10, 15, 20 cents, 25 cents. And there's an argument to be made that a short squeeze could occur there as these dividends are distributed. He has earnings. He has cash flow. So anyway, that's HNRC. And I'll go ahead and tell you I've bought that. I bought more yesterday, and my average price now is 8 cents a share. So I'm not very brilliant. 8 cents a share. Okay. Vocals here. That's down to 0.0086. I really think that has the risk of being seller boxed. We've talked about it though. I think Jeremy's a fighter. They have the key point in his presentation is he's going to go break even in his revenues. If in fact that's true, he has to do things differently. One thing is he has to start buying back shares. Normally growth companies don't do that, but you got to do something to upend the cart with these criminals, Jeff Easton and Kurt Kramer, both. Everything I've said it at the beginning, but everything on this video is my opinion and in my judgment. All right, ZJYL. Wow, it's still $1.120. That's our hope. If you bought GDC, that it does something like ZJYL. I have ALT here for some reason. 11 smackers. GDC 253. Darn it. But let's see what happens in the next year. GTII 41 cents. Down slightly, but not, basically flat. Finger up 13 cents, 411, 410 to 412. And I don't know why I have Sprott Physical Silver Trust here. It's flat at 823. I guess I have it there to remind you that in 2024, our goal should be, all of us, each of us, should be to acquire physical silver. And I'm going to talk about that more. We have to get out of these criminal marketplaces. I was hoping we would make some profits here, and we could have already done it. Well, I'm sorry for your beating. I'll tell you, I lost $180,000, maybe more, in CRTD. So if you're looking for sympathy from me, you have it. But if you're looking for someone that's going to say, "Ah, hell, who cares? I pumped and dumped. I ran away with it," you're not finding it from me. Kilvey, I called in on the Friday when the stock, it had gone higher, but the stock was around $1.50. I called in the morning. I said, you know what? This doesn't look like the deal's ever going to go through. Oh, sure it is. Jeremy is going to be the CEO. The big whale investors have told him he has to do it. He's getting $3.33 a share in GTII stock. He's going to be the CEO of the combined company. Don't worry about it. So I didn't sell. What was announced that Friday? Jeremy renegotiated his deal, tried to get over $5. The company told him to pound sand. And he went on Twitter saying, well, you got to look at what you're really getting into. What does GTII really have? I'll tell you one thing GTII had: no burn rate, a CEO that didn't do deals with criminals after they bought back Kurt Kramer's deal, and they had the whales behind them. Whales. Well, anyway, Jeremy Frommer, Kilvey, decided to walk away from that deal. He would have been CEO. And you can judge whether it's the most astounding thing I've ever seen, but he may have had information I don't have, in fairness to him. Then he went on a campaign to get the hot money out of CRTD. And I would say he was really effective at that. And he remained enchanted by Jeff Easton. So you can, Kilvey, you can point out to me that you took a beating. But I did too. Massive beating because of Jeremy Frommer. His decision to walk away from shares of GTII at $3.33, where he would have been the CEO and he would have had the support of the whales. But he might have known something I don't know. And maybe Reichman didn't want to give up being CEO, in fairness to Jeremy. We don't know. I do know he asked for to rework the deal at the last minute. So Kilby, you know, I've cried me a river over it. I can't revisit it. It's a loss, and you have to try to move on. I could wail and moan about it. Oh, I called in and they gave me bad information. Oh, you know what's worse, Kilby? As soon as it was announced, certain investors just sold. They got out at maybe 70, but they got out at 50 cents, 40 cents, 30 cents. Me, like an idiot, I hung on. Why? Because I couldn't believe that they wouldn't come together and organize a rework deal. They didn't. So, Kilby, I'm sorry you lost money, but I got crushed by it. And that's an example of highly intelligent, hardworking people who think they know what they're doing and I'm going to fix this. His weakness was the blinders. Jeff Easton's a good guy. He told me he's not smart. Well, he told a friend of mine, he's not smart enough to know how to do this. He goes on trips with Jeff Easton, all smiles. Jeff Easton doesn't raise money. He's a front for short sellers, in my judgment. Counterfeiters. He's just a front. He's a day trader of Yahoo stock. Hey, Timinator. All right, I'm gonna quickly answer some questions. God, yeah, I'm starving. I'm actually starving. Well, I'm not, just to be clear, I'm not saying sell CAUD. I'm just saying be on high alert, like a cat on a hot tin roof. Don't diamond hand it. And if the board makes another boneheaded financing or another boneheaded acquisition by issuing low price stock, I would have to say they don't really understand the peril they're in. On the other hand, I'm telling you, the board is a lot smarter than I am. They have tremendous background. They are wealthy. They have Rolodexes. And I mean, the facts are the facts. Aubrey SPAC, Chandron, Brownstone, Polar, the lawyers left CAUD with no money. They left the beautiful young girl with her skirt torn, bruises in the sidewalk with just enough of a hit to feel good for the evening. And then that girl has to come back to the pimp. That's what they did. But it is possible that they can get out of this if they act aggressively. The key thing that CAUD has to do is increase their revenue visibly, their cash flows visibly, and their valuation undeniably. back to where it was, and then the shorts have to cover, and then you have a run. But we'll see if they do it. So I'm not willing, Mark, to say sell, but it's not my favorite stock to buy for a tax loss selling January effect bounce either. I would have to say Logic is my favorite one for that. Wow. What's the eight? Which company? What's the company, Dos Equis? Hey, Jenny L. I hope you had a happy. SNES. I know, Skinny Whale. Show off. Show off. But Skinny, I didn't have the chance to sell. If I remember, you sold at 560, 540. I didn't get that chance. I didn't get my shares free to trade. But frankly, I would have sold. I don't know if I would have sold everything, but I would have sold probably, I don't know. I mean, it's not worth remembering, but I would have sold enough to buy, to put it in another stock. So you did a great thing. And that's a great lesson for everybody. You've got to be we're here to make money. We're not here to get married to one stock. And if you can dance a little, and I know that's sometimes you lose, but you take some of the money off, you move it. What Skinny's going to be able to do is buy back into CAUD. Maybe she'll buy more than her original position. I want to emphasize, I do think the team they have and the brain trust that Peter Boards is bringing to this collective group is awesome. It's massive. They just have to get away from the criminality. There's a rat in their midst. Well, I know it's your memory may not. I was just listening to Jimmy Carter. My name is Jimmy Carter, and he was talking about Israel and Palestine, and he's a very smart man, and he wouldn't get into the traps that the questioner Charlie Rose was setting. But that's the last president, I think, that we had who was a statesman, who actually answered long questions, studied them. I know a lot of people like Ronald Reagan, but I don't know. At least Ronald Reagan didn't start any wars, and he got us. I mean, he attacked a little island, didn't he, down in Grenada? But that's not much. But then, and I guess George H.W. Bush was pretty much a statesman. I met him in the White House, but that war was that distracted everything. And then since then, all we've had are these people that play with words from Clinton onward. Anyway, the government doesn't look out for people. And Skinny, CEOs, I get all frustrated. I'm frustrated with the decision making at the board level of CAUD. But the fact is, they may have a strategy. They may. But they shouldn't have to be on the alert from their financiers and the lawyers that find the little bits of the law they can walk through. When I took the exams to be Series 7 and the key thing was you have to follow the intent of it. You can't come in with some weasel reason why you're doing it's okay and you have a lawyer backing you up. It's clear what the rules say. You can't sell stock until you locate it in writing. You don't believe me? They failed to comply with the locate requirements of Reg Show. Defendants engaged in abusive trading, which they marked and sold shares short when they knew or were reckless in not knowing they had not borrowed or located the shares. Rules which require a short seller to locate the stock prior to the short sell. And guess what? That includes algorithmic day trading. Somewhere it says here, there, it says it right here. The source of the locate must be documented. The source of the locate must be documented. Adriana Friedman, Robert Cook, Charlemagne Charles Cremundley of the OTC markets, Gary Gensler. They don't put the date on the front for some reason. You have to go to the signatures. Here's the signature page, but there's the date, June 12th, 2023. All right, so yeah, I like that, Frankie. I like that idea. Look, CAUD starting to trade up, and I just want to emphasize that it has only about 500,000 shares which trade free to trade. I believe it has a naked counterfeit short and real short position of 20 to 25 million shares. It has a non-existent float. It has insider buying. There's going to be news and 2 different issues next week. And it has no float, and the shorts have to buy it back. So my read on this financing, as I admitted yesterday, could be 100% wrong. And maybe it's like when you, I don't know, get bitten by a rattlesnake, you cut off the finger and you move on. They may have taken that financing because they needed the capital, and now they're turning their revenue back on. They're moving to raise money at higher prices. They're working with friendly investors. So I'm not recommending the sale of CAUD. I'm just on high alert, as I've already described. All right, I'm gonna end this suddenly. They're all shielded. But the thing is, if they sell into the United States market, the trade is in an United States prime broker. So if they sell it from Germany or from Panama or from the UK, the open position is at Alpine. That's where the buy-in occurs. So it's up to the brokerage firms to find their clients. The buy-in will occur in the United States of America. My name is Jimmy Carter. I want a government as good and as honest as the American people. Yeah, I think 135 would be bullish. I think 220, 230, 250 would be bullish. But you got those darn warrants there. But we'll see, Adam. I'm ready to change my feeling and all that. I've never spoken to Peter or Elizabeth. I don't know their strategy. And maybe all of the people that I highlighted, maybe there's somebody else that did this dastardly deed. Who knows? I like how it's trading today. Today is Wednesday. We have tomorrow and Friday. I like how it's trading so far. So that's pretty cool. Showing I might be calling the bottom by my own worries. I want to look at logic one more time and then I'm going to sign off. Yeah, 7 cents. So anyway, all right, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. We started early, a little bit disorganized. B, if you're listening, I'm sorry it took so long, but I wish everyone continued holiday cheer. I'll try to be on tomorrow. And of course, we're getting into the Happy New Year. So peace, love, and happiness. And, we'll catch you on down the road. So cheers.